one Texas teen who changed the U.S. Constitution, plus the future of pizza delivery. I'm Emily Repert. Let's get it going. Okay, it's Constitution Day. When we take a look at that oh-so-important document that created our government. And we're going to put you to the test with a pop quiz.
The original Constitution was only 4 pages long, 4,543 words. Today, the Constitution is more than 7,500 words because of all the amendments that have been added over the years. So here's a pop quiz for you. How many amendments are there to the Constitution? Is it A, 18, B, 23, C, 27, or D, 30? Take 10 seconds. Time's up. The answer is C, 27. The first 10 amendments were added shortly after the Constitution was ratified. Those were, of course, the Bill of Rights. The other amendments ranged from more technical issues, like the 12th Amendment that changed how the Vice President is elected, to major shifts in U.S. policy and history, like the 13th Amendment that outlawed slavery, or the 19th Amendment that gave women the right to vote.
Now, that last amendment, the 27th, is actually pretty young, just 25 years old this year. And you may be surprised who was behind getting it passed. A teenager in Texas back in 1992. Demetrius Pipkin has his story.
Well, we have a lot to thank you for, I guess, right?
Meet Gregory Watson. Over 30 years ago, he was a student here at UT Austin. Little did he know that a homework assignment would change the course of his life and U.S. history forever.
The assignment was to write a paper about a governmental process.
And so, he hit the library to do some research and came across a book about constitutional amendments.
This one just jumped right out at me, almost physically.
It read, "No law varying the compensation for the services of the senators and representatives shall take effect until an election of representatives shall have intervened."
To me, it was a backdoor way of giving themselves a masqueraded pay raise.
This piece of legislation was originally proposed by American founding father James Madison and was intended to be one of the very first constitutional amendments that would block lawmakers from giving themselves a pay raise while in office. Seems like a no-brainer, right? But it wasn't passed in enough states at the time to ratify it as an amendment. It needed 3/4 of state legislatures to approve it, but no deadline was placed on it, meaning for Gregory, it could still potentially be passed.
I worked very diligently on it. I put a lot of love into that paper and was really disappointed when I turned that paper in and got it back a few days later with a C on it.
I feel like a lot of college students would just say, you know what, forget it, this is not for me, or, you know, I got a bad grade, but what can I do about it? But that wasn't you.
After I got the C, was rebuffed in my efforts to get the grade changed, I basically said, I'm going to get that thing ratified.
And so he started reaching out to lawmakers all over the country in the hopes that one of them would introduce this congressional compensation resolution to their state legislatures. And that was how he got in touch with a lawmaker in Maine.
He introduced the resolution. It passed the Maine Senate, passed the Maine House of Representatives, and Maine became my first success story.
But Gregory quickly realized that getting his amendment ratified, making a change to the Constitution, would be a long and difficult road.
For various reasons, people writing constitutions make it very hard to change.
Zachary Elkins is a government professor at UT Austin.
Constitutions are supposed to be higher law. They're supposed to govern other points of legislation. And so as higher law, they're supposed to be less easily changed. And the U.S. Constitution is no different. The U.S. Constitution actually happens to be much harder to change than other constitutions.
But Gregory was up to the challenge. 10 years and 2 months later, from the time he wrote his paper to the time it took him to get enough states to approve it, his congressional compensation resolution officially became the 27th Amendment of the United States Constitution.
I was able to gain support from both political parties. People from across the spectrum generally agreed that, yes, members of Congress should have to wait until the next election intervenes before they get a pay raise.
But the story doesn't end there. When Zach Elkins heard about what Gregory had accomplished, he came up with the perfect way to celebrate this year's 25th anniversary of the 27th Amendment.
It was the culmination of this, and it's something that I saw as kind of a nice capstone to what he had done.
And so, in a special ceremony 35 years after his paper was originally written, Gregory's assignment was changed from a C to an A, and he says it was worth the wait.
Even after all those years.
Well, but you have to remember the 27th Amendment itself took all those years.
That's true.
So when you look at the 35 years that it took for the grade to be changed, it pales in comparison to the 202 years that the 27th Amendment took to become part of the U.S. Constitution.
Demetrius Pipkin, Channel 1 News.
And you just heard today's word in the news, ratify. To sign or give formal consent to a treaty or agreement, making it official. All right, coming up, we have a next big thing well worth the dough. All right, it is time for the next big thing. But before we slice into this week's NBT, let's see what y'all thought about last week's.
We suited up to check out an old hobby gaining new buzz, beekeeping. So is it the next big thing? 58% said yes, save the bees. 42% said no, this one stings.
This is Mr. Gas' 8th grade science class from Middletown, Indiana, and we think beekeeping club is the next big thing.
But James said, it's wrong because bees are working hard to make honey and we just eat it.
Thanks for weighing in, guys. Now Cassie joins me for a next big thing that might steal a pizza your heart. See what I did there?
Yeah, real cheesy, Emily. But speaking of cheese, I got one pizza company that's working on a way to get you your next order without the help of a delivery person. Check it out.
The next time you order pizza, you might not have to tip a delivery man. That's because Domino's and Ford are teaming up to test a self-driving car pizza delivery service. The catch? Since there isn't someone to ring the doorbell, you have to walk outside to pick up the pizza from the car. A pizza ATM located on the car will allow customers to retrieve their order. The company's launched the service this month in Ann Arbor, Michigan. But for this trial, the cars have been driven by researchers to monitor customer reactions. In the future, Domino's hopes to one day replace all its drivers with driverless vehicles.
So is driverless pizza delivery the next big thing? Vote and leave us a comment at channel1.com.
Or if you guys want to be on the show, send us a video response to nbt@channel1.com. All right, guys, we need to wrap up today's show. But we'll see you right back here tomorrow.
Good morning. Welcome to CMM AM. I'm Madeline.
And I'm Annalise. Today is September 19th, 2017.
Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now for your daily announcements. If you are in student council, go to the PAC right now.
That means everybody in student council. Don't forget to turn in your suicide prevention poster to Miss Sitton tomorrow. Students who need to come to the library before school should not enter the building before 7:05.
You need a note from a parent or teacher with your name, the date, and parent or teacher's signature to enter the library before school.
Also, you need a hall pass to come to the library during class time.
You should never come to the library during one class to do work for another class.
Printing costs 10 cents per page for black and white and 50 cents per page for color.
We cannot make change for large bills.
To take an AR test, you need an AR testing pass signed by your English teacher.
Please write your score on the pass and turn it in when you are finished with your test.
Your house will earn points for every middle school level AR test that you score in 80% or better.
Watch the charts near the cafeteria to see which house is winning the House of Reading competition.
Don't miss out on the CMM sweatshirt and long sleeve t-shirt that the PE department is selling.
You can purchase them through payforit.net, but make sure you still turn in the form with the sizing and color information on it.
That about wraps it up for this episode of KCMM AM.
Have a great day.
KCMM out.